Hi there, guys. Welcome back to the College Town Podcast. And guess who's back?
I don't know. We'll find out if it works.
Yeah,
we'll find out if I'm back.
It is the college audio for this podcast.
Yeah.
So,
I'm back from the dead.
yep.
Back from the audio issues.
All things well. And one who else is back? Two teams in red. And that'd be the preseason unranked Louisville as well as the preseason unranked Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Two major wins for them.
Fair warning, we talk about Louisville a lot.
Yeah,
We're very excited.
I hate to break it to you all, but we got that going on. We also got some news of like Tez Walker being back. Very positive week in sports for us. Very happy about all these things, as well as some news about the NCAA shortening up its transfer portal. We'll get to how we feel about that and what we think, as well as some other key games going on from Week 6, as well as our predictions for Week 7. And as always, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Really helps out the channel. And we'll see you in this week's episode. Thanks.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Louisville football is back. We're going to win the national championship this year. Everyone knows.
Teams in red are thinking it right now.
Yeah.
Us in Oklahoma.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, oh man.
Man, oh man. What a game.
What a time to
What
be
a
alive.
weekend. What a time to be alive.
What a way to be on the
kidding
field.
me?
Taste some AstroTurf.
Yeah. I was on the field.
I was up in the stands.
It was great.
Yeah.
It's a great time.
It was a fantastic time.
Yeah. I had a carpool, so I had to leave early. And by early, I mean with like a minute and 14 seconds left in the game. It was fine.
Oh.
Walked by Jack Harlow, saw Josh Hurd. We're all good.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know who Josh Hurd is. He's Louisville's athletic director, but you know, I think you know who
Peyton
Jack Harlow
Siva,
is.
Donovan Mitchell.
I walked by
the
them as
entire
well.
Cavaliers team was
Entire Cavaliers team.
How
Big
about
for
that?
the brand.
Absolutely.
One of the biggest wins of the weekend. Them and, like you said, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma definitely had the win of the. Not to shine any less light towards Louisville.
The Louisville win means more to me.
Of course it does. Why wouldn't it? We're riding high, baby.
I'm telling you. Sometime after, like, I'd say 9:40 p.m. On Saturday, I just had a perpetual smile on my face. I was so happy.
It was very interesting at the game because it went from like third down defense and like everyone chanting to then you like kind of knew like the game was won, and it became karaoke in the stands basically of just people singing along to songs throughout the night.
Yeah, well, it became as soon as Notre Dame went for it on 4th and 11 with 9 minutes and like 45 seconds left or something like that.
Right.
That they didn't have to do that. I know Louisville had all the momentum at that point,
Right.
but don't panic. Like if you go for it in that situation, all that does is say like, we don't think we've got it. We don't think we're gonna win this unless we just go for it on 4th and 11.
I mean,
inside our own 30.
I understood why Freeman made that decision though, because it's like it's 2 possessions. If you punt it here and we do score again, that makes it 3. I mean, like it was like 14 at that point. We end up kicking the field goal to make it 17, to where it was like 13-30 basically.
I think we were up 11 at that point.
Was it?
We were
11?
up 24-13.
Oh, okay. So that's the one.
And then
we're
we
talking
kicked a
about.
field goal.
And then we
yeah,
kicked another field goal. Yeah,
because he turned it over.
twice.
Which, by the way, I said it. I said it all along. You just get pressure on Hartman, and he panics.
Which is kind of incredible because I thought Notre Dame had a really good.
They do
O-line.
have a really good offense.
They gave up 5
Their
sacks.
tackle, the guy who hasn't given up a sack in 2 years, Joe Alt, phenomenal tackle. He's probably going to go top 5 in the draft from, like Mel Kiper and
Right.
the likes
Todd
of them.
McShay,
Or that's what they're saying. He's like a top 5 prospect. Hadn't given up a sack in 2 years. He gave up 2.
Wow.
He gave up 2 sacks. One to Mason Reiger, one to, I think, Ramon Puryear.
Is that number 9? Number 9 had a day.
Number 9 is Ashton Gelati.
He
He's
had 2
phenomenal.
sacks. He had 2 sacks.
None of them were on
Okay.
Joe Alt.
Yeah, because one was the white guy who was the nose tackle. And then Riley had a great game at cornerback.
Yeah.
He had, 2 picks? Could have made it a
One
third
pick.
one?
Devin Neal had 2 picks.
Oh, okay. It was ridiculous because Riley had the first pick, and it was like just kind of turned, saw the ball, caught it, and I felt like right then and there, it was like, oh shit, something's happening here,
Yeah.
because it was the first possession of the game.
Mm-hmm. Getting his head early, mess with him. He hates the city of Louisville.
Oh my goodness.
He'll never ever go to Derby because he hates. If he does, whatever horse he picks, do not pick that horse. That horse is gonna break its leg in
Poor
the
Sam
first
Hartman.
before the first turn.
We are Sam Hartman's kryptonite.
I love Sam Hartman personally. If he
He
wants,
just gives
if the
you top
NCAA,
10 wins.
if Charlie Baker wants to give him another year of eligibility,
Does he have another year of eligibility?
no, but I'm saying Charlie Baker could give him one so that he could play us next year in Louisville, and then we would just ruin his life again.
Mm-hmm.
Look, he's fine. He's a gorgeous man. Okay, he's
Missing some ribs, but yeah.
yeah, he's okay. Anyway, we should probably talk about
I mean,
the ramifications of that game instead of just gushing about how happy we are.
No, we can keep going. Who cares?
Nah, yeah.
But anyway,
Look,
yeah. So what are the ramifications for
So obviously for Notre Dame, they're out of the playoff.
Without a doubt.
Essentially, like the only 2-loss team to ever even flirt with the playoff was Auburn in like
It was also Alabama.
2019.
Alabama,
Yes, but not really.
They flirted with it one year where it was like
Auburn was like top 4.
no, it was the year where like Alabama lost to Georgia twice. They lost to them in the regular season, and then they lost to them in the SEC championship. And then Saban went on this barrage of like the best 4 teams should get in. I believe we're one of the best 4 teams.
I think that was last year.
Was it last year?
Yeah, pretty sure.
But
No. It wasn't last year because they didn't make it to the SEC championship game last year.
Right, but it was the year where they lost 2 to Georgia, and
Well-
that was their only losses. Like they ran the table against every team. They just had 2 losses against the same team.
Well, there was a year where Auburn was ranked 4th going into championship weekend,
Uh-huh.
and they played Georgia,
Uh-huh.
who they had just beaten. Georgia was a 1-loss team at that point.
I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, and so, I mean, that was the only, in my mind, that's the only situation where it's like, okay, if Auburn wins, they're a 2-loss team, they're going to the playoff.
Mhm.
And I remember at the time I had no problem with that. I was like, Auburn's playing better than just about anybody. They're phenomenal. Notre Dame only has 5 games left.
Yep.
They don't have that. In the playoff system in football, you want to lose early.
Oh yeah.
Even if it is a god-awful loss, you want to lose early.
Right, because you have the time to rebound and show that you're a good team late.
Mm-hmm. And so they only have 5 games left. I know they play number 10 USC.
They do.
But USC was like top 5 at one point, and they just keep falling in the polls.
To be fair, USC is not losing games. They're just playing with their food.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why they're falling. They don't look good when they go 3 overtimes against Arizona.
I mean, I would agree, but I just think people are souring on them. So Notre Dame has fewer and fewer opportunities. You know, that Clemson game.
To get that staple win or something.
Yeah, that Clemson game.
Right.
That doesn't look as good anymore because even if you beat them, I think Clemson's an underrated team right now. They, you could make the argument that they should be a top 25 team.
Well, it's like they've had some losses early.
Yeah, but the 2 teams that they lost to were Duke and Florida State.
Right.
Like
2 quality teams.
yeah, it turns out 2 very good teams.
Yeah, Duke is a very good team.
But even if you do beat Clemson, who I think is a good team, that's Clemson's 3rd loss. The best they can do is 9-3 in the regular season.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, that sours a little bit. Then they play who else do they have? They got Wake Forest. That's a bore. And then they got Stanford, who Stanford's not that good this year. They're terrible, actually.
Right.
Even though I think they've got a, pretty optimistic future. I like their coach quite a bit, but
Right.
no, that Notre Dame just doesn't have any opportunities.
I feel like if they do beat USC and then they run the table, they won't. Let me put it this way: they won't be in playoff contention. That is done.
They would need help.
They would
Like
need a lot of help.
It would have to be like
Right.
2007 levels of chaos.
It'd be ridiculous levels of chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, now for Louisville, what does this mean for Louisville? Considering that was on paper our hardest game
yeah.
of the season, and we
And
just
then
won it.
Yeah, and then one of your remaining.
You literally only got
one of
2
your 3 remaining toughest games was Miami, who, holy crap!
Oh,
Does
that
Cristobal
game.
know how to kneel the ball? Like, does he know how to
Apparently
coach? Because everyone thought he was incredible at Oregon, and then
Yeah.
and also that was Miami's first ACC game,
Oh. Yeah.
and so that now it kind of looks like okay, maybe Miami just kind of got off easy a little bit.
Let me just put it this way: Miami should have won that game.
Yeah.
Straight up. You have the ball with 30 seconds left on a third down. They're out of timeouts. You knee it. You take the 40 seconds down, and you go shake the other coach's hand while those seconds are running down.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason to run the ball in that situation. I feel like everyone is aware of that and realizes that. The other thing that's concerning is how does your defense give up 70 yards in 30 seconds?
Yeah.
That's the other thing. It's like even if you do fumble the ball there and lose it and you make poor decisions there, how do you have the play calling to allow 30 seconds, no timeouts to go 70 yards?
Yeah, no, that's like that was an all systems failure for Miami. That was terrible.
1,000%. It was really bad.
But I don't know. Miami, I think they have better talent.
Oh, 1,000%.
Than Georgia Tech. They have much better talent.
1,000%. Well, Notre Dame has much better talent than Louisville.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Without question.
But,
I mean, if you look at the stars on the papers, those teams are well recruited, more talented teams.
Yeah. I think it comes down to coaching, and obviously Jeff Brohm is one of the best coaches, I think, in college football. I don't think that's really deniable at this point.
As far as best, I don't know where you would put him in the rankings, but
he's up there.
He's a damn good coach. Yeah. But yeah.
And Georgia Tech's coach, I think he's like a fiery guy, you know, like he can get teams up for a game. Like last year they upset North Carolina.
Right.
I was actually prior to them falling apart against Bowling Green, I was very confident that Georgia Tech was going to go in there and beat Miami. And I still think that Georgia Tech was overlooking Bowling Green, just trying to look ahead to Miami, and then it came back to bite them because they don't have the talent to be able to do that. But he's a guy that can, you know, he can get his players up. He can coach them up for a big game and pull off an upset and steal one.
Seems like it.
You know, that's super important. So for Louisville, who they're 6-0, they're not. I understand they're not the most impressive 6-0 in the world.
No, it is
but
not.
6-0 is 6-0.
I mean, we've only beat one ranked team.
Yeah.
And that ranked team right now is 21st.
Yeah, but still,
right?
You know, 6-0 is 6-0, and
the remaining
schedule is terrible. So I mean, Louisville's a legit ACC championship game.
Meet Florida State in the final. It seems like.
Yeah, the problem is Florida State, North Carolina, Louisville. They're the undefeateds right now,
right,
in the ACC, and I think Duke is also undefeated, but people are kind of cool on Duke a little.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what's up with Riley Leonard and his high ankle sprain.
Yeah,
because it was worse than they initially thought, but now he's day to day.
Yeah,
with the injury report.
So, Louisville, Florida State, and North Carolina, none of them play each other.
So what happens there?
There's a world where all three of them are 8-0 in the ACC. Wow. I think if that's the case, then they just give it to the two teams that are ranked the highest, probably to give the ACC the best chance to make the playoff. It would probably be Florida State and North Carolina at that point.
Yeah, I would agree. I definitely think a rank, like if you look at it, at least initially preseason-wise, Florida State had LSU, North Carolina had South Carolina, who was preseason ranked. I mean, like, whereas Louisville had
Notre Dame. It depends on how they finish the year.
Right.
If Notre Dame runs the table, they're still 10-2.
Right.
With a win over USC.
Right.
But
I'm just saying, like, as far as like a non-conference schedule goes, for the most part.
And Kentucky could be ranked in theory.
Oh, it'd be interesting to see. Right.
Yeah,
they're really weak.
Kentucky's already got 5 wins, so we'll see.
They do.
Yeah. But anyway, the rest of college football, because I'm sure you guys are upset
that we're talking too much about Louisville.
Yeah, tired of us gushing about Louisville. We're excited, man. We're excited.
It's a fun time to be a Louisville fan.
Yeah.
Just means basketball's going to suck this year, but it's okay.
Yeah. Anyway, Oklahoma. Don't even get me started on that. Oklahoma
Great
beat Texas in the Red River rivalry showdown.
Red River rivalry.
Red River rivalry. Texas had 3 turnovers.
Yep.
Oklahoma won on a last-second great
pass. Yeah.
Great pass by Dylan Gabriel.
Yep.
Heisman moment, maybe.
Very early. Very early.
Yeah, but yeah.
We'll see. I mean, like
It's October.
I'll also say this: Oklahoma, with that win, looking at their schedule, they have a great path to the playoff now.
Mm-hmm. Especially considering they're 5th right now in the AP poll.
Oh, yeah.
AP poll is not the playoff poll. The playoff poll is different, but there's going to be some overlap, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that was a huge win.
Now, does that eliminate Texas'
No.
potential of making the playoff?
No, because Texas could, they themselves could run the table, meet Oklahoma back in the championship.
And have to win. But they have to win out, basically, to get to the playoff.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, like, that's why everyone's excited about the 12-team playoff. Right now, there's just no room for error.
Right.
There's a little more room for error than there was, when it was just the BCS game.
I feel like there's always like a one-loss team that makes it every year. There's usually, rarely it's ever you have 4 undefeated teams.
Has that ever happened?
What?
4 undefeated teams? I know there's been 3 undefeated teams before.
Right. I know that too. I don't know. There probably has, but it's rare that you have all 4 teams run the table.
Yeah. So. I don't know. But no, neither of those teams are out. And Oklahoma just has the better position, obviously.
Oh, absolutely. From where they are.
But Texas is very much still alive.
1,000%.
Alabama, Texas A&M was another big game. Alabama won. Alabama won in a game that I did not expect them to win. I guess I put my money on the wrong horse there, but
yeah.
Oh well. It was close. A&M had the lead at half.
They did.
Yeah, and then Alabama just came back and won. They don't throw the ball deep anymore. They've made an adjustment. Whenever they pass the ball, they just dink and dunk.
Is this A&M or Alabama? Alabama?
Yeah.
Well,
because they still have a quarterback issue. I think
1,000%. I don't think Milroe's the guy. But
he's the guy this year because that's all they got. But.
Well, exactly. I wonder if Saban is
If I'm Saban, I'm telling any boosters I can, go to Arch Manning's dorm in Austin, sneak in, pick the lock. I don't care. Hide in his closet. Tell him he will get the world in NIL.
He's the third string at Texas right now.
I don't care.
And the other thing that's interesting is there is a lingering rumor that has come out that Saban might retire.
I could see it.
There is a report that he has discussed it with his family. So,
I could see it.
I mean,
the thing is,
here's me reading into it, is all of a sudden he's more interested in being on TV and ESPN, and he's on the Pat McAfee show every Thursday now. And,
is he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He's on the Pat McAfee show every Thursday. He's doing interviews with Game Day and interacting with the media more than he used to, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a report that comes out that he's discussed with his family about retiring, and maybe he's thought like the NIL thing is not necessarily his cup of tea.
To me, whenever there's like a seismic change in just like the culture of a sport, which that's what NIL is.
Oh,
all of a sudden players have way more power. They have way more autonomy. Financial freedom.
It's also like, I don't need to listen to you, coach, because I'm making this money. Yeah, it's absolutely.
Which, the core of college football is like coach is king still.
Well, yeah, the hierarchy.
Yeah.
Whereas like in the NFL, a coach is working with the players so they can all be good together.
Which I agree more with that philosophy.
Whereas like I feel like from college down, the coach is the authoritarian.
Yeah, that's why so many guys who are great in college go to the NFL and they suck.
Possibly.
That's a big reason why.
Well, it's also like one of those things where it's like in the NFL you realize like it's your job to be good and it's their coach's job to be good. Whereas like I feel like at a college level, you're there on scholarship or whatever, and like your coach may have to push you to be good. Whereas like in the NFL, they don't care if you push. They'll just find the next guy to replace you, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, but
And I feel like there's more of that coming now with the transfer portal. It's like, if you're not good, we'll just find the next guy to replace you. It's not like we're stuck with you for what we have, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I feel like there's a two-way street with all this.
Yeah, but no, I just think whenever there's like a huge change in a sport, the old guard, a lot of times you see a lot of people who are like, I'm not going to deal with this anymore.
Right.
You know, like, that's why Jay Wright retired.
Really?
He didn't. He was like, I'm done. I don't want to deal with NIL and
really
and transfer portal. Like, he's like, I'm sick of this.
And
He's
then,
like, I got my championships. I'm good. I'm going to the Hall of Fame. I don't care. So no, I could absolutely see Saban retiring.
What about Sweeney? Dabo?
I feel like the difference between Saban and Dabo is Dabo doesn't
Have the resume?
seem to understand that it's changed.
Oh.
Like, he's already not embracing the transfer portal and NIL.
No, they
have one transfer
transfer
this year.
Cape
Yeah,
Columbia.
one transfer. And, like, it's not working out for him. But also, you know, he won 2 national championships at Clemson. I don't think they're going to fire him unless he gets, like, atrociously bad.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the difference is Saban has kind of been like, okay, this is the new way to do it. I'm going to do it this way. I mean, he came out a few years ago and was like, I hate when people say defense wins championships anymore. He's like, it used to be like that. It's not anymore. Offense wins championships. So Saban is a guy that will, as much as he is like an old school, like authoritarian head coach, he is someone that adapts with the times.
Mm-hmm.
Dabo is clearly not.
Right.
And so I think all these big time coaches, they're all narcissists. And so so like with Dabo not adapting with the times, he clearly thinks he's like, I'm just gonna do it the way I've always done it. I'm gonna win. That's what's gonna happen. And so I don't think this is wearing on him the same way it's wearing on Saban, because Saban's actually embracing it.
Mm-hmm.
But he might just hate it. And so
It'll be interesting to see.
yeah, I think it's different situations with them.
Absolutely.
Another notable game, a great game. Oh, what a great game. Georgia, Kentucky.
Didn't see any of it.
Oh, it was so good.
I was at a different game.
I was at that same game, except I was in the press box, and they've got TVs up there.
Oh,
so I got to watch a little bit of it. It was awesome. It was so awesome. Kentucky's defense, who has been very good all year long. Kentucky has had a great defense this year.
They've had a great season so far.
As much as I don't really have faith in Kentucky this year, their defense is fantastic. They could not do a thing against Georgia. Georgia just basically, they're like, hey, we're going to pass it to Bowers over there, and then as soon as he gets down, we're just going to run a zone run right off our right tackle, and then we're going to score a touchdown in 2 plays. It's they could basically, Carson Beck could have said that. That could have been his audible. And then Kentucky would have been like, okay.
He could have been like Larry Bird back in the day, been like, I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to shoot it in your face, and I'm going to win the game.
They absolutely could have done that. And then Kentucky couldn't stop them.
Wow.
On the ground, Ray Davis actually, the thing is, Georgia's run defense, I think, is still not that good. Because from what I saw, I did not watch the entire game because, again, I was in the stadium for a different game.
Right.
So I could not watch the entire game. But from what I saw, it looked like Kentucky was still able to run the ball a little bit with Ray Davis. The problem is Devin Leary could not hit open receivers to save his life.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, Devin Leary, the reason he was out for the entire year is because he tore his pectoral muscle. I don't know. I haven't seen anyone say this, but I think he might still be injured from that injury last year.
Really?
Because he's missing wide open receivers. They are wide open. And he's just like sailing it over their heads.
Jeez.
And so I think he doesn't have, I don't think he has that like range of motion or that touch that he used to, or something's gone. Something's off after that pectoral injury. Right. And I don't think he's fully healed. This is 100% speculation.
Oh,
because
I mean,
he cannot hit open receivers.
10 for
but-
26 with 128 yards is not fantastic.
Yeah, but those 16 misses, it was bad.
Really.
There was one where he literally had a guy behind the front seven
Mhm.
of Georgia. The secondary was nowhere near him. All he had to do was hit him. That's like a 10, 12-yard gain, whatever it was, at the catch, plus another 10 to 15 yards of yards after the catch.
Mhm.
That's a huge gain. Just sails it way over his head. There's no one near him. And it's like that's been the problem all year with Leary and Kentucky, is they cannot rely on Leary. And the problem is they can't go to their backups either, because their backup quarterbacks suck.
Mm.
So
Well, Devin Leary was supposed to be.
he was supposed to be really good,
This very good transfer in. It was supposed to be.
and I thought he was going to be good. But I think, again, just speculation. I think he's still injured, or he hasn't recovered, something like that. I don't know.
It'd be a good excuse.
Yeah, but anyway, first time all year Georgia's looked like the number one team in the country. And I'm glad. I'm glad it came then. It was great. Great time. We got some upsets. UCLA beat Washington State. Technically, that is not an upset because UCLA was favored in the game.
They
but
sure were.
They were unranked. Washington State was ranked.
That is not true. I'm pretty sure UCLA was like 24, 25.
They were not ranked for that game.
I thought they were.
No.
Really?
They're ranked now.
Mm.
They were not for that game.
Oh.
We mentioned it before. Georgia Tech beat Miami in hilarious fashion.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Like how? How does that happen?
I mean, yeah.
How does that happen?
We've been over it, but my goodness, that just can't happen.
Yeah. I feel so much more confident about that Miami game though, because if they don't kneel the ball when they're up by 3 with less than 40 seconds left.
I do wonder if it's also the possibility is I was watching them against A&M because they beat A&M, right?
They beat them pretty handily. The
Right.
score doesn't show how
Right.
dominant they were in that.
But when they went to go kneel the ball, their victory formation is still in shotgun. I don't think their quarterback goes under center. So
I know there's a lot of young quarterbacks.
So
I just have zero experience from under center.
So it's like, is that a thing where it's like you don't want to go under center to where? But then again, it's like just take the shotgun pass and just knee it.
Take a step forward and kneel. Like I've seen quarterbacks do that before. I've seen them do the victory formation out of shotgun.
No, I've watched it against A&M with Miami, and that's what they did. That's what they do.
But they didn't fumble the ball, right? It didn't seem like there were any
No, but
snap
it's like-
issues. Exactly. So it's like, what is Cristobal
I'm
doing?
just throwing it out there.
I'm aware.
as
I
if
know you're-
something maybe, you know.
I appreciate the devil advocate, but
Right. And then Fresno State lost to Wyoming. Wyoming looks like a good team this year.
yeah, I know.
I mean, Fresno State also looks like a good team. It's kind of very
The
competitive.
Mountain West is honestly
It's looking pretty good.
maybe the best Group of 5 conference.
Oh, without question. Between Fresno State, Wyoming, and Arizona.
Air Force,
Yeah,
yeah.
Arizona. Jeez. Arizona could have
They're
beat
close
them.
to the state of Arizona.
You know.
Or in
But
Colorado.
yeah. I don't know. The football looks pretty good there if you
Yeah.
can stay up for it.
And from what I've heard, Air Force's campus, beautiful campus.
I can believe it.
It's in Colorado.
Yeah.
Those mountains.
Mhm.
Ooh, what a landscape. Whew. Yeah. But some close calls. We have Colorado barely pulling it away against Arizona State.
And then you had Shooter Sanders flexing his watch to the
Yeah.
Arizona State student section.
Yeah, I saw that.
Why?
I don't know. It's kind of his brand at this point. Just trying to stay on brand.
What, like, it's personal? Like,
No, just like the braggadocio, you know, of like. And it's probably
like,
because his
torn
dad's
on-
Deion Sanders.
Well, I'm like torn if I'm like supposed to like Colorado or hate Colorado. I really am. Because it's like, oh my goodness, this is fun to watch. But at the same time, it's like, I just don't like it sometimes.
They've really, really, really done the speed run of
The rise and fall.
Yes.
Of like,
When-
new
when
upcoming
people-
team, and then like, this team talks a shit ton,
yeah,
and then they're like,
yeah.
and then when they talk shit, the other team talks shit, and they're like, oh, we're taking it personally now, and then that's
Yeah.
on brand for them as well.
Yeah.
Of taking stuff personally.
Yeah, I mean, people love to do this thing where they like build someone up and then tear them down.
Yeah.
It's just happened in the span of a month and a half for Colorado.
It is crazy where it's like, man, this team has something going for them. And then it's like, my God, will these guys shut up?
I don't know. I mean, like, I think the problem that a lot of people had was, like, the watch to the student section. Because, like, it's like...
Why?
Well, people all the time will pull off a win, like maybe a game that they should have won, and then as soon as the game's over, they're like chirping at the crowd. That happens constantly. I think people are only talking about it because it's Colorado.
I mean,
because it's Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, probably.
They're so high profile at this point.
Well, they're in the spotlight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how well they do this year. I like Arizona State's coach.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He was, where was he? Oregon's offensive coordinator last year.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I think even though they're not winning, I think they just don't have the talent yet.
Mm-hmm.
They have Jalen Rashada, who, if he doesn't transfer, I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see what they can do with him going forward.
Oh, the new years of NIL. If he stays, they could be good.
Well, it's a legit thing, you know. You gotta
if he doesn't find more money elsewhere,
you gotta have that in the back of your mind, like. You know.
If this kid who's committed here doesn't leave.
Yeah. But no, I look out for Arizona State in the Big 12 because that's where they're going.
Yep.
Yeah. Speaking of another Big 12 team, Arizona nearly pulled off the upset against their Big 10 opponent, USC.
I love it how you're just not acknowledging it's a Pac-12 still.
No. It's the Pac-2, and that's it.
Fair enough. What is with USC winning games but doing it in like the ugliest fashion?
Well, their defense is... I like their players on defense. I think it's just their defensive coordinator, Alex Grinch.
What's also so weird is that, like, on paper from the transfers, it's like... They look phenomenal.
Going to the game, I think they had the most sacks in the country. So those transfers that they got in on defense are legit.
So
like you were right to be high on those.
So
guys.
Why are they giving up 50 and 40 points a game? Though?
I think it's all scheme.
Really?
I think it's all scheme. Yeah.
Wow.
I think they just. I don't think
That's
Alex
really
Grinch is
bad.
any good, and also that O line for USC is not good either.
Yep.
That's Caleb Williams is not going to win the Heisman.
Just because no one wins the Heisman 2 years in a row.
Yes, but he deserves an honorary Heisman because he's doing the same thing that Lamar did in 2016.
It was a fun year to do that.
Really, he's doing the same thing that Lamar did in 2017. Because the defense was very good to start the year, and then everyone figured out, like, oh, just wait till third down, and then they send everybody on a blitz. But the things that Caleb Williams is doing, incredible, considering what all he has around him.
Speaking of him, he released his 5 teams that he's willing to go to. Otherwise, he's returning another year to USC. Did you see that?
I did not.
I'll show it to you.
Yeah, I'm very interested in that.
Yeah. I'll show you.
Is Denver one of them? I'm curious.
I don't believe so.
Because honestly, I would go to Denver. Because if Denver gets that first pick, why wouldn't you take Caleb Williams? Why wouldn't you take Drake May? You know, someone who's there. Because they've got Sean Payton. This is a college podcast, I'm aware. But they've got Sean Payton. They've got talent. Even though they're apparently shopping the talent around. Anyway, I'll stop talking about that because this is a college podcast. But I don't know. I love that players have
Here are the 5
their,
teams.
have
Cowboys,
power.
Raiders, Vikings, Giants, 49ers.
Okay. That's a little... Okay, I take it back a little bit. That's kind of ridiculous.
I mean, if you look at it, they're all in that tier of, like, they have a quarterback, but they're a mediocre to mid-tier quarterback. Dak Prescott, Jimmy Garoppolo, Kirk Cousins, Daniel Jones, who has sucked this year, and Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy's good.
Or is he a system quarterback?
No, I think Brock Purdy is...
I mean, like, all those teams there are, like, teams that are, like, could be playoffs teams if they have a decent quarterback.
Yeah.
It's not, like, complete rebuilds. But this is getting a little bit sidetracked. But he's basically said that he can make more money at USC than in the NFL.
Yeah, and he might be right about that, especially if he comes back for another year.
Well, also, I do think it's also just like where USC is and what they have to offer. It's LA, baby.
Yeah. But I don't know. Most of those teams, it's like there are teams that are going to be bad that still have a good organization in place. You know? So I think he's freaking out a little bit over that. It's like you're not going to the 49ers.
All these
49ers are not going to trade.
It's also a lot of his dad talking, too.
See, that's not. That's because then that kind of gets in the territory where it's like, okay, is he like a good kid with a dad that's kind of like leading him astray? Because I don't know the situation.
I think you're reading a little bit.
That happens a lot, though.
I think it's up in the
Trenton Flowers, who was a 5-star recruit, going to play at Louisville. Sorry, we talk about Louisville a lot. It's where we live. He left Louisville to go play for an Australian team overseas.
That's right.
Because he's like, oh, I want to play point guard. He played one game at point guard, was terrible at point guard, and then immediately the team was like, okay, no, you're playing the wing. So now he's just in the same position that he would have been at Louisville with less eyes on him.
More money. Well, maybe. Who knows?
I don't know, but like he has less eyes on him now. So his draft stock is probably fallen. And it's because of his parents. His parents got it in his head. No, you've got to be Penny Hardaway. You got to be LeBron. You got to be a 6'7", 6'8" point guard. And he's not. He's not. And so I think same thing with Amani Bates. Amani Bates doesn't seem like a bad kid. He just seems like he has bad adults in his life leading him astray.
He was at what, Eastern Michigan?
Yeah, he was at Eastern Michigan. Went to the draft this past year. I don't know where he went, but I know he got drafted.
He got drafted in like the second round.
He got drafted in the second round. But like, whenever these people have like the balls, like LaMelo and LiAngelo Ball.
I mean, you can't really argue about any of that.
The difference is though, like,
one of them
LiAngelo could have gone to UCLA on scholarship.
Well, he did, and then he robbed from China. LiAngelo was at UCLA. The whole reason why they left was because they did a China tour, and he was arrested for robbing jewelry from a Chinese store in China.
Call me crazy. I think that goes back to the parents.
I'm going to call you crazy because Lonzo and LaMelo didn't do that. I'm just saying the one that decided to rob from a China store isn't in the league. Now, to be fair, he was the worst out of the three brothers.
Yeah, but still.
I don't know. I feel like that's a bad example because you literally had one kid become an all-star, the other one become a solid starter.
But also
both from the same background, and then you have a third one who just wasn't up to snuff.
I mean, yeah, but still, like, Lonzo Ball had his, like, teams were a little wary about signing Lonzo Ball.
I don't know.
When he hit free agency because of his dad, because of LeVar.
I don't know, though. He was drafted second overall by the Lakers out of UCLA. You go to UCLA, gets drafted second overall by the Lakers. You're supposed to be this all-great generational player, or at least at a minimum an all-star, and you just turn out to be a solid starter. And then you have injuries that related to your knee.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, he still got his second contract with the Bulls and everything, played for the Pelicans as well. And I don't think you can pin any of the negativity on that on his parents.
I just think it's not uncommon at all for players who have bad adults around them for the adults to just screw everything up.
I don't think LeVar's a bad person.
He's boisterous. He's loud.
And it sold tickets. It did a thing.
It sold tickets, but it was also disruptive.
I don't think so.
I don't think you're remembering that as well.
I don't think it was disruptive at all.
It was. The Lakers literally banned LeVar Ball from going to Laker facilities.
Okay.
Because he was disruptive.
I don't think it was anything bad, though.
I disagree with that. I just think if you're banning someone, it's not a good sign.
I get that.
It's not good, and it's probably not neutral either.
I agree with that. But at the same time, I don't think anything that he did affected the outcome of where his kids would have ended up.
Maybe. I might have chosen a bad situation there, but I think the other examples I gave, I think, were very good examples.
Well, I don't know enough about Imani Bates to comment on it. I don't know. I know like he got like arrested and charged with some things in Memphis and then had to leave and go to Eastern Michigan to restart his career in a way.
The Imani Bates situation was similar to the Trenton Flowers. He demanded that he was going to play point guard.
I thought Imani was like legal issues.
That was after he had already transferred out of Memphis. But then those issues. So the thing is, he just drove someone. The headline, the initial headlines made it seem much worse than it was. It was not really Imani Bates's fault.
Mm.
It was just being around bad people.
Gotcha. And
so someone had a firearm on them.
He was a guilty by association.
Yeah, but he didn't even do anything wrong.
Gotcha.
So that gets blown out of proportion. The thing about Imani Bates is that his dad got in his head. He's like, "You're a point guard. You're 6'7". You're a point guard. You're great." And he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated when he was like 15.
Right.
You know, so he
home recruit in the nation.
Mm-hmm. And then, so his dad was like, "Go play for Memphis. Penny Hardaway was a 6'7" point guard.
Mm-hmm.
That's you. You're the next Penny." And then when he wasn't that, he still insisted that he was playing point guard. He's like, "No, I'm a point guard. I'm a point guard." And then his dad was like, "They don't want to put you a point guard. We're going to leave the team. Like, you're not going to stay and show that you can be a team player and like play a different position, play off the ball." They left the team. And when they left, they got better because he wasn't playing point guard anymore. They probably would have been even better had he stayed and just been a wing player. But they still got better. It was an addition by subtraction.
Right.
And then he left and went to Eastern Michigan, who had a terrible year, but he was their only option.
I think they made the tournament.
They did not. They did not make the tournament. They had an awful year last year. Look up their record. They were not good, and their only option on offense was Imani Bates. And then I think they didn't want to, stay at Eastern Michigan any longer, and so he just went pro. But I just think, I don't know, I worry a little bit for Caleb Williams because, I don't know, his dad seems a little overbearing, and I think that is always a bad recipe for young athletes. It's my take on the matter. It's my 2 cents. Wow, it's not really showing the record now, is it? Oh, wait, no.
8-23.
8-23. They had 8 wins. They were
go.
awful.
Gotcha.
I told you. Anyway, let's move on.
All right, fair enough.
Let's go to the news of this week.
Big news this week.
Yeah, we do have some big news.
We finally have some regulation within NCAA in the transfer portal.
Yeah, which I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it.
Really? I think it's good if you're able to go and realize you don't enjoy a situation and leave and find something within that 45-day period. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's just enough time for you to realize that it's, like, for those who don't know what we're talking about,
yeah, we should probably say that
the
first.
NCAA basically has shortened the period for the transfer portal for all sports to one period from 60 days to 45 days. Is that correct?
Yes. So originally there was
two
windows.
Right.
Most notably with football, you had the
end of the season,
winter,
and then you had in the spring ball.
Yeah, the winter period, and then you had the spring transfer portal. That winter period, that was 45 days from the end of a certain point in the season. I don't know. I wish I knew that I could tell you. But it was after a certain point hits, then there's 45 days. Anyone can transfer, no issue whatsoever. Then it closes, then it opens back up for 15 days. In the spring, anyone can transfer, no issue whatsoever, making for 60 days. They've now basically just gotten rid of the spring transfer portal, which I'm a little mixed about. But still, if you're a graduate student, you can transfer anytime, no penalty. That's
interesting.
That's the rule, yeah. So you can still lose seniors in the spring,
Right.
But so originally what they were going to do is they were just going to cut it. They were going to cut it to 30 days. They were going to have just 30 days at the end of the season. No second transfer.
Just a month of the portals open.
Yeah. I think that I would have preferred 30 days and then 15 days. Because, but then I'm torn about it because there are a ton of instances of players that enter the transfer portal and then never find a spot.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't find anywhere.
Right.
And so...
And then that's the gamble you take.
Yeah, but... I don't know. I'm very, very torn on it.
I mean, I think regardless of where you put it or how it works, is that the only issue with, like, closing the spring is, like, you might have an expectation of, like, the pecking order within your position.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get there and you realize that where you are in the pecking order based off the number of reps you're getting in spring ball, I do think that will suck in the sense of, like, you're not able to try and find something else.
Yeah.
Because of the pecking order.
Yeah, that's how we got two of our best players in our secondary this year. Louisville, that is.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, like, I do understand, like, why you don't have the spring because, I mean, like, what's the point of practicing with from a coach's standpoint, what's the point of practicing with a guy if they're not going to be on your team? You know? What's the point of opening up practices and going through reps and you're setting up players in positions and then to realize that kid may decide I'm leaving because I don't like where I'm at in the pecking order. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I partially get it from both ends where it's like...
I do too.
Because it's like, on one hand, you're like, you want the player to find the best fit for them.
Yeah, you want them to be able to have mobility.
Right, but then on the other hand, you want the coaches don't want to have to prepare. I mean, as far as they know, they don't know what their team is until when the last day of that portal is. And whenever that last day is, that's when they know what their team is and what they truly have.
Mm-hmm.
And I think no matter where you set the boundaries, your last day is going to be the most hectic day regardless.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see how it works out. There are two sides to this argument. I think they're both honestly equally justifiable.
Yep.
So that's why I am torn on it. I think we're just gonna have to see how it plays out.
Right, exactly.
So
there's going to be someone who's getting screwed over in this.
Yeah.
I will say this one definitely leans more towards the side of, like, coaches getting less screwed over.
Yeah, I think just based on the history of the NCAA, them screwing over players just because they can.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of lean towards, like,
this is bad?
Yeah, it's like, let's have a spring portal. Like, because what's stopping a coach from just lying to a guy?
To get him through the door?
Yeah, well, just for depth.
I also wonder if, like, at a certain point, it goes a both way street of, like, once you start lying to guys, you might get a reputation of, hey, this guy lies to you.
Yeah, I know. Maybe not.
So maybe not. Right. So, I mean, like, that's the only thing that I could think of is, like, word might spread that this guy lies to you about where you're going to be in the depth chart. This is what you can do for us. We would love to have you here, just to find out that you're another depth piece on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I don't know. But
people in good situations aren't looking for the transfer portal. People in bad situations are entering the transfer portal. Or
sometimes people in, like, perfectly fine situations leave just because they think, like, oh, maybe there's greener pastures out there.
Right.
But,
but like, if you're a top recruit, if you're a starter at a major program, odds are you're not leaving it.
Yeah, odds are. I would agree with that. Hunter Dickinson, though, he left. Left Michigan. I understand Michigan is a good program, not a great program, but still, he was a starter.
You could argue, though, that he left from one program to go to a true blue blood.
He absolutely did, but
so
still.
I think that falls into the greener pastures.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway.
It's like you're starting quarterback of Georgia. You're not going to leave Georgia.
Probably.
You know
Probably.
what I mean?
But it's a sticky situation. Another
we'll see how it pans out.
Sticky, icky situation. Cam Rising.
Yeah. Where's my guy Cam? Why has he not been playing?
Well, we talked about it. I speculated maybe it was a mental thing
Right.
I don't think that I was correct now.
What do we think it was?
Well, he has revealed that the injury is not just a torn ACL like everyone had previously believed. He tore his ACL along with his meniscus and his MPFL. Never even heard of that.
Don't know what that is.
It's probably in your knee.
Well,
Yeah.
one can assume.
It ends in L, so, it's got to be there, right? It's got to be in
find out
something
what
that bends. And he also tore his MCL. So, I mean, that's a
I'm not even gonna try.
catastrophic
I'm not even
injury.
gonna try what it is. All we need to know is your
The medial patellofemoral ligament.
In other words, in what Google says, is the most important structure commonly injured during lateral patellar
Patellar. Is that okay? So is that like your patellar
and
tendon?
rupture accounts for 3% of total knee injuries.
So I know a tear of the patella tendon is also equally as catastrophic. Usually comes along with a breaking of your patella, which is your kneecap. So, yeah, to tear your MPFL, that is awful. If that's at all related to your patella tendon, which I imagine it is because it's in your knee. That's a horrible injury. He might not play this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he might be out. He might be down for the count. We'll see. Utah might be falling in the top 25.
They've been falling.
Yeah. I mean, in the CTP top 25, the best one on Instagram. Check it out. But that's awful.
Yeah.
That is an awful injury.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks for everyone involved, It sucks for Cam Rising because that's on top of just the human aspect of that's a horrible injury just like in general that you have to recover for and then now live your life with. He might not be able to play this year. It's definitely going to affect his draft stock having that catastrophic an injury. I mean, we'll see if he comes back from it, how well he comes back from it.
Yeah, I think he's still got to show that he can play football.
Yeah, that's the thing. And so now that really hurts his career, his future career prospects going forward. And then for Utah, they've got that defense is unreal. They're so good. And with Cam Rising, that's a legit playoff contender. Without him, not at all.
Do they still have a shot? Do they only have one loss?
They do only have one loss. It is to Oregon State, correct? Yes.
Double check.
Yes, they lost to Oregon State. They lost to them 21-7.
Yep. They beat UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
Beat Baylor.
And they were on a bye this past week. Yep. So
they got 2 weeks before USC. They got California this week.
Yeah, they got Cal. But then
they got USC, Oregon, and Washington all within a 4 week
all in a 1 month span. That's terrible. And without Cam Rising, doesn't look good.
No, it doesn't.
But I don't know. We'll see. Unless Charlie Baker truly is the devil, if he doesn't play this year, he should get a
It can't be that bad because there is good news coming out of it.
Well, we'll get to that in just a second. But unless he truly is the devil, if he doesn't play this year, Cam Rising should get a medical red shirt.
Oh yeah.
But you teased it. What's the good news?
Tez Walker is eligible now.
Tez is back. Free my man Tez.
Shout out Tez.
Former they freed
State,
Harbaugh.
It was a Kent State transfer.
Was he Kent State?
I believe so.
I don't know. They freed my man Harbaugh. They freed my man Tez.
I mean, they didn't do anything to Harbaugh just yet.
But he's free. He's out. He's out here taking pictures with his defense, showing everyone he rolls deep. I hate Charlie Baker.
Yep. Kent State.
I love Jim Harbaugh. I don't like what happened. I've talked about this so many times. Why do I love Jim Harbaugh so much?
Because
when did this happen?
I think it's called Jim Harbaugh's one of those old coaches that is changing with the times.
Yeah,
I think we've mentioned it with Saban and Sweeney.
Well,
he struggled to do it.
Yeah, Harbaugh's just such like a
Harbaugh's like
peppy guy.
Oh yeah.
I think he wears thin on a lot of people, which is why he, aside from Michigan, has only really been at any place for like 3 years. But He's a great coach. Great coach.
I mean, it's in
and
some
a
Super Bowls.
Great guy. Is he from? He's probably from Kentucky, honestly. I mean, his dad coached at WKU. Was a legendary coach at WKU.
Mm-hmm.
Won an FCS national championship.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so Tez Walker's back. He played his first game. I think he played well against Syracuse. I mean, I know UNC handled Syracuse in that game, and so that's a big addition, especially considering Drake May was not having the same year that he was last year. Last year, that offense was unstoppable at times.
That is the basketball.
That is a basketball score. That's not unlike, some games that
Why is it showing me the
North Carolina played last year in football, the score being 72-68 that popped up. But no, I mean, I think this is a huge addition for North Carolina. Once they really get him worked in that
Tez
lineup.
Walker had 43 yards for 6 catches.
Yeah.
Yep.
43 yards and 6 catches. Any touchdowns or no?
No touchdowns.
No touchdowns.
8 targets.
8 targets. That's pretty good.
That's something.
Yeah.
That is.
It's depth. If he starts getting his legs under him, he starts performing well. I don't know if he's their top target this year. He's probably not. But
Well, considering he hasn't played half the games.
well, I mean, we'll see going forward if he becomes their top target.
Well, we'll find out.
But still, I think that's a big boost to North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And a big middle finger to our man Charlie Baker, who can go to hell.
You heard it here.
I don't like you, Charlie Baker. I know you're watching.
I feel like this is
I know you're watching.
Once a
you
week
vain man.
All right.
Anyway, moving on.
Moving on.
What are we moving on to?
What are we moving on to?
It's time to check up on your portfolio, see what we're doing.
Yep.
Yeah. I make you money.
No, you didn't.
Just like Jim Cramer. I make you money. Mad money.
Still waiting for you to be perfect again.
Nobody's perfect, okay?
Yeah, you got to work it.
Is that a Hannah Montana reference?
Yes, it is.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Show? Not that good, by the way. You ever gone back and watched it?
Can't say I've ever gone back and watched any of my childhood shows.
It's not that good.
Really?
Not that
The
good.
only one that's like remotely on was SpongeBob.
SpongeBob, early season's fantastic. Drake and Josh, also fantastic.
There you go.
Yeah. Ned's Declassified, funny.
Yep.
It's a funny show. Anyway,
Don't do drugs.
Nickelodeon had the best ones.
Mm-hmm.
But
To recap, because I actually have I have the receipts here.
oh yeah, you kept those, didn't you?
There you go.
You were close. You were close.
Yeah. So to give you guys an idea, this has become a betting segment.
It somehow, yeah.
Yeah. Jacksonville State looked great against Middle Tennessee. You got that one right.
Sure did.
Western Kentucky looked good against Louisiana Tech. Got that one right. Toledo, heavy favorite against Massachusetts. Did not look that good. Still found a way to win, though. Colorado, as we know, Shooter Sanders flexed his rollie, or whatever it was, against Arizona State. And then TCU, your last game of the day at 8 p.m. on Saturday, let you down against Iowa State. So we bet $1
You know
for
why?
a total return
Matt
of
Campbell.
$0.
Matt Campbell took the over in that game. He took the over on everything. He was trying to lay it on TCU.
Man. So now there's the recap for this week. Also, we had Coastal Carolina, but they run a bye. So
Yeah. So I could not sell them, but I got to keep them.
here we are.
Yes.
Where are the buys?
Well,
the holds and the sells.
Well, let's start with the holds as we normally do. I said it before, Coastal Carolina. We've got to hold them. But the thing is, we're proudly holding them. They play App State, who, App State, boy oh boy, they suck. They suck at football. Nothing good comes out of Boone, North Carolina. Cincinnati's learning that firsthand.
Coastal Carolina,
Yes.
They are a 6.5-point dog against App State.
Yes, because it is at App State. But guess what?
What?
Coastal's got Grayson McCall.
Yeah,
Put his name in the transfer portal. No one really wanted him.
Surprised
So he took it right back out.
I'm really surprised by that. I thought he would go somewhere.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
Me too. But he's still there. He's still there.
Who is our next hold?
Yes. By the way, that's a Tuesday game.
That is tomorrow.
That game is playing tomorrow.
So fun fact, there is football games on the entire,
Mhm.
every single day of the week.
As of Wednesday of last week.
Yep, up until the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Yes.
So we got football for a whole month.
Football for
every
days,
day.
baby. Thank you. Thank you, Mac. Thank you, Sunbelt.
Conference USA.
Conference USA for taking a page out of Louisville's book. Louisville started that trend, fun fact.
Really?
First ever college football game on Thursday night. Louisville, Tennessee.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. It was at Louisville. Tennessee won. But it helped to grow the brand. Anyway, the next hold is another one that I've got to hold, but I'm proudly holding them. And that's, you love them, you hate them, you love to hate them. Whatever it might be, your Colorado Buffaloes. The Fighting Deion Sanders.
They've got Stanford this week.
Yes, they sure do.
They are a 10.5-point favorite against Stanford.
Yes, I think preseason, honestly, I picked Stanford to win this game, but it's not preseason anymore. It's the middle of the season. Some people call it midseason.
Is that what they call it?
That's
now?
what some do.
How about that?
Some people call it middle season. I've never
Just
met one,
wrong.
but look, to each their own. More power to you, you know?
Absolutely.
But they play Stanford at home. They were on the road for Arizona State. That's probably why. Little hostile crowd. As I said, either love them, hate them, or love to hate them. I think Arizona State this past weekend, this past Saturday, loved to hate. And then they hated that they hated. As
now look
the
at them.
final result was a walk-off win for Colorado. So I'm going to hold Colorado. They're going to bring some moolah, some cash to his. By the way, once again,
Bet responsibly.
FTC, bet responsibly and all that. FTC, SEC, this is a joke. I'm not
Yes.
actually a financial advisor,
Yes.
even though I
That
did go
is-
to fiduciary school. It was prestigious. It was a prestigious institution. Don't come after me.
Lovely Nebraska.
I don't receive commissions off of this.
Lovely
so don't,
Omaha. It was a lovely house where you got your training in.
It was, yes, out there in Omaha.
Mm-hmm.
Hoorah!
What?
You know, Omaha.
Oh my gosh. Oh my. All I'm thinking is of Peyton Manning all over.
Yes. Another hold is Toledo, the Rockets. There's no problem in Toledo. Toledo, we do not have a problem. Because they play Ball State.
And they are a 16.5-point favorite against Ball State.
And you can take this to the bank. By the way, that's not financial advice when I say that. That's just a saying. Ball State is one of the worst teams in the entire country. They're terrible.
Are they?
They're awful.
Really bad.
Awful.
Let me tell you, they're dog water.
Yeah.
That's what people tell me.
Dog water. Yeah. Dog water.
Apparently.
It's
We're going to roll with it.
yes.
It's in the cut.
Yes. Ball State, despite being, I don't think it's his alum because I don't think he graduated from there, but David Letterman went to Ball State.
Really?
Sure did.
How about
There's
that?
actually a David Letterman scholarship at Ball State.
Oh.
In order to qualify for that scholarship,
You got to be funny?
No, you have to have a C average GPA throughout high school.
What?
If you have anything 3.0 or higher, you don't qualify.
So you can be mediocre and get a full ride? to
Full
Ball?
ride scholarship to Ball State. You have to have C's, straight C's.
Can we ask why?
Because it's funny.
It's
It's David Letterman.
Yeah. I was about
David
to say,
Letterman's. If you haven't watched David Letterman, he's a funny guy.
How do you decide that? How do you anyway.
Because it's funny. That's how you
It's-
decide.
Like I said, you probably have to be funny to get that scholarship.
I would hope so.
All right,
If
it's
you're
David
getting
Letterman.
C's in high school.
One of the best talk show hosts of all time.
Yeah, I would say number 2 in my own personal rankings.
Really, you have a rankings? You want to go down this? What's your ranking?
Let's do it.
Sure.
Conan, number 1, the GOAT.
The Conan's the GOAT?
Conan's the GOAT.
Interesting.
Number 2, Letterman.
Letterman, you said it.
It's David. Number 3.
I don't think there really is a third for you.
No, I would probably go with Jon Stewart. Number 3. If we're considering the Daily Show as a late night show, which I am.
What about Johnny Carson? Or
That's number 4.
Old school guy.
Johnny Carson's 4. Johnny Carson's good. He's a legend. But
and at number 5, you got Jay Leno.
no, Jay Leno can go to hell. I think you know that.
That's why it's funny.
I feel the same way about Jay Leno that you feel about West Virginia. I don't like that man.
Well, considering you took the Tonight Show from Conan.
Yes, from the GOAT. Anyway, number 5. I don't know. Craig Ferguson was good.
Oh, yeah. Good old Craig Ferguson. Love me some Craig Ferguson.
I don't know. I have to think about number 5. But
Craig Ferguson's good.
Anyway, that's my top 5.
Well,
now that we're done with that sidebar, we're moving on.
Yeah, Ball State.
Yeah.
Dog water.
By the way, I'm not giving the 4. I'm not giving the 4-week outcast at this point because I really am just going week to week now.
Because you're not holding these teams.
Well, there's no river long enough that doesn't have a bend, but you know.
Okay.
Anything's possible is what that means.
We got Coastal Carolina, Colorado, and Toledo.
Yes, and we've got one more hold.
And that
you might have guessed it if you're internally doing the math. But that's Jacksonville State. New to FCS. This is their first year. They're 5-1. Are they 5-1 or are they at 6-1? I don't know, honestly.
Jacksonville State.
Man,
they got Liberty.
They do have Liberty. And once again, that's tomorrow. So you're going to find out real soon if this parlay hits.
They have former Michigan and West Virginia coach. What's his name? Rich Rod. They have Rich Rod.
They've got Rich Rod.
Rich Rod
Rodriguez.
And
former coach of
West Virginia and Michigan.
Of Pat McAfee, yeah.
Yeah. And they are 6.5-point underdogs to Liberty at Jacksonville State.
Yes. But guess what? I don't know if anyone read that report that came out about Liberty. There's no way. No way they're winning. Did you read the report?
What was the report that is?
That's a very real report, by the way. It's
really?
They lie about sexual assault on their campus.
Oh.
And assault in general. They for years claimed that it's, the safest college in Virginia. Turns out it was a downright lie.
Noted.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't go to Liberty. You will be assaulted.
You heard it here.
You heard it here.
Jesus.
As a fiduciary, it's my right. It's my duty to inform you that you will be assaulted.
There's a ton of sidebars this pickup.
Yes, there are a lot of sidebars.
So what are the sells? Who are we getting rid of?
Well,
who are we saying goodbye to?
They broke my heart. They broke my heart multiple times this year. And that would be Texas Christian University, another religious school.
Get rid of them horny toads.
They're done.
Done for.
They're out of here.
Out of here.
Out of here, I'm telling you. Look.
You've been
they lost
Christians before. You're not
to
having
two
to happen
teams.
Again?
Exactly. These Christians, all they do is hurt me.
So what we're doing is we're buying the Mormons. Are we actually?
No.
Okay.
That would have been fun. But we're going to go to a different private school.
Oh, are we now?
And that would be Tulane.
Oh, you're back on this Tulane train.
Yes, I sure am. They play Memphis on Friday night. A lot of weekday games for me this week.
Well, I think part of the reason is you are finding all the teams that aren't in a Major 5 conference. Because you can't pick ranked teams. Because if you could, they'd be all playing the good teams in the Major 5.
You said it. You said it there very eloquently.
We should just name this segment the weekday games that you should watch.
Colorado's playing on the weekend.
Oh, there you go. Oh.
Yeah.
Got me there. But anyway, Tulane versus Memphis at Memphis.
It's at Memphis. Both teams coming off of byes. Both teams only have one loss on the year.
Yep.
The thing is, I have been far more impressed with Tulane.
You've also just loved Tulane.
I do have a love affair with Tulane.
You
They've
really
been
like
they've been
Tulane
ranked
this whole year.
pretty much all year for me.
Mhm.
They remain ranked, but we're going off the A&P 25, not the CNTNP 25.
And they are 3.5-point favorites against Memphis.
Memphis, they're some road dogs,
Mm-hmm.
even though they're Tigers.
I just want to let you know
Wait, no, they're home
you're
dogs.
building a
That's what
pretty
they're
good
called.
parlay here. It's very good money wise.
Yes, I don't.
Yeah, you don't know that.
No,
but,
I don't.
But you're doing it.
Well, anyway, I feel confident. I've not been impressed with Memphis this year. I have been impressed by Tulane. By the way, they've got their quarterback Pratt back, so
There you
I'm
go.
very high on Tulane.
Who they didn't have against Ole Miss, and they played competitively for 3 quarters.
Should have
against them.
beat them even without, but it is what it is.
You find out.
With them, they would have smoked Ole Miss.
And the other sell that we're doing, we're getting rid of the Horny Toads, and we're getting rid of.
We are getting rid of Western Kentucky University.
Goodbye,
It's my second
Western.
sell of WKU this year. I can no longer buy the Hilltoppers,
There you go.
even though I think they could make a nice year for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually looking at their schedule. It really opens up at the latter half of the year.
So why are we selling them?
Well, because they got a tough game coming up.
Who they got?
Honestly, I don't remember.
Here, I'll tell you.
They have Liberty coming up soon? I think they have Liberty coming up soon. I think they're on a bye week and they play Liberty. That's what we're going to look up. Yes. No, they're on a bye week and they play Jacksonville State.
Oh,
Yeah, at Jacksonville State.
how about that?
And then after that, it really clears up for them. But no, not doing it. So we're going to sell them, and instead we're going to pick up where it all started, the birthplace of college football. That is the Rutgers Scarlet Knights.
Really, we're picking up Power 5 team.
Yes,
They
yes,
must
we
not
are.
play anybody because they're in the Big Ten, and I know you wouldn't pick them if they were playing a ranked opponent. Who do they have?
You never know.
Right.
They've got Michigan State.
Ooh,
That dumpster fire of a program right now.
team in turmoil.
Team in turmoil. That is correct. I don't even know who their coach is. They brought back the old coach just to hang around on the sidelines.
Rumor has it Kansas coach could be their next coach.
We've talked about this.
Yes, we
I think
have.
it's Mike Elko right now.
Might be, or Lance
Leipold.
Leipold. Thank you.
It's great choice, honestly.
But anyway,
Either
back
of
to Michigan State at Rutgers.
At Rutgers.
Rutgers
This
is
is
a-
another Saturday game. So we got 2 on the weekend.
Hey, there you go. We got 2 weekend games. Right now, and we got Michigan State at Rutgers. Rutgers is a 5.5-point favorite in this game. As of right now, Monday. It's a long way to go to Saturday.
Yes.
You built a damn good parlay here.
Yes. If you bet $1, what's that going to pay out for you?
27.
Are you serious?
Yes.
For $1?
If I did 10, it pays out 273.
Oh my.
I kind of want to do 10.
That's all
Look,
up to you.
your odds are plus 2,733.
I don't really have a frame of reference, but I'm guessing that's high.
So to give you an idea, when you bet the spread,
Yeah.
that's like even. So like if you bet $100, you win $100. So if you bet $10, you win $10. If I bet $10 here, I win 273. So I win 237% times my bet. So if I bet $1, it's $27. But if I add a 0 to it, it adds a 0 to it.
Yeah, well that would be math. That would be math.
We'll just stick to
Interesting.
the $1 bet.
Interesting.
Because bet responsibly.
Yes. Yes.
So
bet
there it
responsibly.
is. It is in.
Yes. By the way, if you're keeping track on the season, I'm plus 23 on the year. That's
Or-
right.
Or minus $1, depending how you look at it.
Well, we're not going to look at it from that lens.
Hey, to be fair, if this hits, you cover yourself for the rest of the
I
season.
sure do.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you start getting more emboldened with your bets. It's up to you. I'm not forcing you to do anything.
I think it's a good way to keep track to see how you're doing. See if you're perfect for 1 week.
Anyway.
What do you mean? It's money, man. You're trying to make me money. This is what we're talking about.
Yeah. We're making money. It's all about Munty, Hunty.
was all serious until it got real. It's all for fun, and then it got real.
Yes. Anyway, my teams are Coastal Carolina, Colorado, Toledo, Jacksonville State, Tulane, and Rutgers. That's a winning formula right there.
I sure hope so.
Yeah. Throw a quarter zip on me, and I could be coaching Ohio State. Until, of course, my heart gives out.
I got the first part. I didn't get the second part.
It's Urban Meyer.
Oh.
He fakes it. He fakes heart issues whenever he wants to get out of a situation.
Ah.
Yeah, he's done that his whole career, except in, of course,
Jacksonville.
in the NFL, well, where he got fired because he sucked. Well, moving on, we got our pick'ems.
Yep. You showed your hands to the first two.
I did, actually.
Sure have. So
Yes.
let's run through them.
Yes, run through them. Well, for those keeping track of the record, which I don't think it's any of you, I'm going to be perfectly honest. Sam currently is sitting at 47-20. I am at 46-21. And then the fans, that's you guys, 43-24. Not that far behind, but
Everyone's
in
floating.
last.
Everyone's floating around that 67% to 75% range.
Yeah, it's important to realize that you guys are last.
Yeah.
And you're trailing
And I'm
to
first.
us. Well,
By one game.
not for long.
We'll see.
Yes. Anyway, first game of this week, we've got Liberty versus Jacksonville State. As you said, I already tipped my hand at this game. I've got Jacksonville State.
And you're making me a Jacksonville State believer. So
Yeah.
here we are.
I mean, how can you pick Liberty when they lie about their assaults on campus?
Right. Rich Rod is back. Honestly, looking at the way they play, based off of the couple of games that I've seen, I wouldn't be surprised if Rich Rod's not there for much longer. And he goes into the transfer portal for coaches.
I don't know about that. But so you're picking Jacksonville State?
Yep.
All right. Next game, Tulane versus Memphis. Again, I'm picking Tulane in this one.
You said
Very high on them this year.
You said everything I needed to know. I'm picking Tulane as well.
Yes. All right. Quick ones. Next, we've got the fun ones. We got Texas A&M versus number 19 ranked Tennessee.
And I think this is a perfect summary of teams that we believe in who are going against each other.
Yes, sort of.
In a way. I mean, I believed in Tennessee. Still kind of do. I've definitely slowed the train on that hype. But give me Tennessee over A&M.
I don't believe in Tennessee. Plus, A&M's coming off a loss. I think they're going to bounce back from it. I think
They're hungry.
they're hungry, they're focused. Jimbo doesn't want to get fired. He's got to go like 9-3 or something to keep his job. There's no hard number, I think.
Or do you think he just goes, man, screw it, I'm done for. Just go out there and play.
No, I don't. You got Jimbo Fisher and Bobby Petrino on the sidelines.
It's a recipe for some hot heads.
Yeah, that's a recipe for a decapitation on the sideline.
To be fair, Petrino is like contained in a box up in the press box.
Oh, is he not on the sideline?
No, he's up top.
A smart call by Jimbo.
I think so.
Because there would be
Could you imagine?
fisticuffs. There would be. We would see
mid-game.
We would see real fast just how quickly both of those pairs of hands
Good
work.
old Bobby is up in the box.
All right, but anyway, I'm picking Texas A&M. I think they're going to bounce back. I don't believe Tennessee is
And I'm
picked.
picking Tennessee.
All right, next we've got Iowa versus Wisconsin. We didn't do our Iowa tracker.
Absolutely.
It's not good this week.
It's
still not good. I think they scored below 25 points again. I think they scored 20 points.
I think they scored like 21. They won, though.
I think they
won against Purdue.
Yeah, but it's still below the threshold. Like, they're going to fire Brian Ferentz.
They need, 25? He scored 20. 20 to 14.
Which is bringing the average down lower. It was at 22.2.
So it's probably around 21 now.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going Wisconsin. This is going to be a defensive game. Wisconsin's the only team that's fielding an offense.
Yep, I love Luke Fickell. I think Tanner Mordecai is a pretty good quarterback. Plus, Iowa's without their quarterback, and it turns out they can score the same amount of points with or without Cade McNamara.
It's true. I mean, I wasn't very high on McNamara.
No, but...
Anyway, that's true. It actually didn't make any difference.
No, they're still around that 20 range.
Yeah, they're still bad at offense.
Yep. Here we go.
Next, number 10 USC versus number 21 Notre Dame. Who you got in this one?
You skipped one.
Did I? I sure did. We're going to get back to that one.
Okay.
Before that, we got Wyoming versus Air Force. This is a very crucial matchup.
It's a big
for the Mountain West.
Yep, big Mountain West matchup. Wyoming coming off a big win against Fresno State, and they still got to do it again against the second top team, or one of the top 3 teams.
The only other remaining team, it was Fresno State. They were undefeated. Now they've lost at the hands of Wyoming. Air Force is the last remaining undefeated in the Mountain West.
Yep. And Wyoming has looked impressive to me. They've had some big upsets, some good wins. Give me Wyoming. Give me the Cowboys. Is that their mascot? I hope I said that right.
Yes, it is.
Okay,
yes. I'm taking Air Force. Air Force is coming off of a bye. I think they're going to be well prepared. I think, obviously, if it's a military academy, so they're very disciplined teams. Give me Air Force.
That'd be funny if they weren't. They're just fisticuffs out there, personal fouls.
A lot of fisticuffs during this pick.
Fisticuffs, unsportsmanlike conduct. Could you imagine?
I would love to see during the Army-Navy game.
Just
an all-out brawl.
They're just going for
and then
it.
a sniper from the top of the CenturyLink field or whatever it is in Philly.
You know how in like DC it's like half Navy, half Air Force.
Yeah.
They just meet in the middle of the fans. They
just storm the field.
They're like, this is what we're fighting for.
America. I got Air Force in this one.
I got Wyoming.
All right, next now, USC Notre
It's another
Dame.
America's matchup.
Yes, we've got the Trojans versus the Irish.
How is this a rivalry? How does this become a rivalry?
I don't know.
It just is, and it doesn't make sense.
They're also big-time rivals with Stanford, too.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens when you're not in a conference. You just play whoever.
Oh. They got to be red, and they got to be out west.
Yeah.
Stanford's mascot's stupid.
The Cardinal?
Oh, I thought it was like a tree.
It is a tree. They're the Stanford Cardinal.
So why is their mascot a tree? Now that's even stupider.
I think it's because
You think a prestigious university with the great academic accolades could come up with a better mascot than a tree?
I'm pretty sure the students came up with it. I think someone just showed up in dressed as a tree, and they were like, "Cool, that's our mascot now." That also happened with Georgia Tech, another very good academic institution.
It's an unofficial mascot.
Yeah, because it's just the school.
It's literally called the Stanford tree. That's the name of the mascot. Is the Stanford tree.
Why wouldn't it be? Where there's, keep it simple, stupid. Yeah. Don't need to complicate it.
But why a tree? Because there's a tree in the S?
They're in Palo Alto. It's near the redwoods of California.
Fair enough. Let's get back to
USC Notre Dame. Heated rivalry.
Yep.
Undefeated USC going against a reeling Notre Dame team, having lost 2 out of the last 3 games. Their 4th primetime game in 4 games.
And I initially liked Notre Dame in this one. I felt like they were going to bounce back. But how funny would it be for them to start off 3-3?
5-3.
Yeah, whatever. I think it'd be funny if they have 3 losses. So give me USC.
I think they're going to bounce back. I think USC was looking ahead to this game. I think that's why they played so poorly against Arizona.
Could you argue the same thing for Notre Dame?
Absolutely. I think that's what happened. The difference is Louisville is way better than Arizona. So, in Notre Dame, I think their defense is going to show up. It's going to bully that O-line of USC that has just been abysmal this year.
Mm-hmm.
The USC defense has also been abysmal. Notre Dame's just going to score at will.
And just to mention, just looked it up. Right now, Notre Dame is a 2.5-point favorite in this game.
Mm-hmm. It's at Notre Dame.
There you go.
Yeah, in front of touchdown Jesus. I think they're gonna win. Next, we've got somehow still ranked Miami versus North Carolina.
North Carolina keeps winning. I expect them to keep winning.
Yeah.
Why would the train stop, right?
That's a great question. I'm picking Miami to stop the train. A hurricane could easily stop a train, actually, now
Oh.
that I think about it. Now that I've given it some thought, a hurricane, I think, would be very apt at stopping a train.
North Carolina, a 3.5-point favorite in that game.
Yeah, I think that Miami was looking ahead. I really do think that they were looking ahead. I think they thought, like, oh, we're Miami. That's Georgia Tech. We're going to roll them. Like, who cares? And they almost won until, I can't remember what happened at the end, but they almost won. Yeah. So I'm picking Miami to, I guess, somehow stay ranked still. How are they still ranked? That doesn't make sense.
I think if you don't know how to knee a ball, you stay ranked.
Is that how it works?
I think that's a new rule they came up with this year.
Okay. Anyway, next we've got a team that's not ranked versus the team that is ranked. We got Missouri versus Kentucky. Kentucky is the team that ranked. That's ranked. They lost 51-13. How is Kentucky also still ranked?
Well, they went from, 20 to 24?
Yeah. After losing by like 30-something. 38. They lost by 38 points.
Maybe the team that they lost to was, really good at football.
Shut up. I've got Missouri in this one. I've been far more impressed with Missouri. I don't think Missouri's defense is that good. That being said,
They did beat Kansas State, which turned out to not be that impressive of a win.
Yeah.
But still, they rushed the field for that.
But yes, they sure did.
That's so funny.
You're very into field rushings
I am,
and what
because,
constitutes them.
I kind of am, yeah.
All right, I feel like this is a dragon. Let's move on.
All right, I got Kentucky in this
Yeah.
one. They're 2.5-point favorites against Missouri at Kentucky.
All right, next we got UCLA, Oregon State. Both teams are ranked. That's one of 3 ranked-on-ranked matchups we got this week. I'm picking Oregon State.
Same here. I'm going to try it again. DJ Ugalele?
No.
Yeah, Uga.
No.
Uga.
No.
Allah.
No.
Give me DJ.
Uyangalele.
Ugi Ungalele.
Yeah, it's pretty good, yeah.
Ugi Ungalele?
Uya.
Uya.
Ungalele.
I thought there was a G somewhere in that.
There is no G in the Hawaiian alphabet. I've noticed they tend to pronounce G's whenever it's a vowel next to an N, I think. So there's no G in Tua's last name.
Wait.
Tagovailoa.
He went to St. John's Bosco. What are we talking about?
He's Hawaiian still.
Oh, but he's from California.
Yeah, you can still be. Look, I don't have to get into this. Look, we're both taking Oregon State.
Yep. Sums up
And
short.
DJU.
DJU.
All right, next is
You go DJU.
Next is NC State versus Duke. Duke coming off a bye. We'll see how Riley Leonard is. NC State benched their starting quarterback, so they're starting a brand new quarterback. Put up the most points that they have all year against a Power 5 team. Or, I mean, an FBS team.
Maybe Brendan Armstrong just sucks.
Maybe.
Thanks for starting him against Louisville. We appreciate it.
We sure do. Who you got?
I got Duke. Duke is a 3.5-point favorite against NC State in this one.
I'm picking Duke as well.
Even without Riley Leonard. I think they can still win this game without Riley
their
Leonard.
defense is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Their offense is okay. I think they've been lucky that they played a lot of bad teams this year, early on. But defense is great. I think that's going to be a bit of a slugfest, and I think Duke's going to come out on top, especially because it's at home.
Yep.
Finally, game of the week. We got number 8 Oregon versus number 7 Washington.
Yep.
Big game, big time matchup.
You know it.
This is for
What you
this is
live
for the
for.
Heisman. This is for the final year of the Pac-12 for these 2 future Big Ten teams. This is for playoff hopes. Whichever team loses, they're still alive in the playoffs, but it is tough sledding in the Pac-2. So, that being said, I'm going to take Washington.
It's at Washington as well.
Michael Penix has been incredible this year.
He sure has.
That offense has been incredible.
It
Their
sure
defense
has.
has not been phenomenal.
It sure
but
has.
It doesn't matter because they just put up points on everybody.
Yep. The over-under for this game is 67.5.
Take the over, dude. Take the over. I'm not a gambler.
That's like That's like almost 35 points on each side. That's a lot of points.
I wouldn't be shocked at all.
Nope, I wouldn't either.
Anyway, I
With
got
that
Washington.
being said, you got the Heisman winner if the season was to end right now, Michael Penix Jr. I got my Heisman hopeful that I picked at the beginning of the season in Bo Nix in the Oregon Ducks in this one. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. Well, that's it for us.
Yep.
Thanks for watching. Let's hope the audio works this time.
We'll find out, won't we?
Yeah, I'm already getting... My blood pressure is already rising. We'll see if this works. All right. We'll see you next time.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.